Hey guys, it is time for the inspiration of the week. And today's inspiration is going to come from Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 9. And I'm going to read it from the Message translation. Do you ever find yourself trying to figure out who you can depend on? Who can you trust? Who can you lean and rely on? Sometimes we think about our friends, we think about family. I know I can depend on my mom. I know that, but sometimes, even as a parent, sometimes you just have to let God be the person that your children depend on, right? Because we can't always rescue because we don't know the plan or the purpose that God has, right? So this is what it says, and this is from the Message translation, like I was saying. It says, know this. God, your God, is God indeed. A God you can depend on. He keeps his covenant of loyal love with those who love him and observes his commandments for 1,000 generations, right? So God, your God. I love it in the Message because it really puts the emphasis. There is no other person that you can depend on like you can depend on God. Because not only does he keep his word, but he keeps it for such a long time. Nobody else lasts as long as God can keep his covenant. It says he keeps it for 1,000 generations. I love my mother. I know my mother is faithful. I know I can depend on her. But me nor her will last 1,000 generations. But God does. But I just have to go back to the beginning because I need you to understand the emphasis. Know this. Hear this. He who has ears to hear, hear this. God, your God, is God indeed. You can depend on him. You can trust him on him. You can lean and rely and put your full weight, your full hope, your full faith in him because he will not forget his words. He will not forget what he has called you to do. He is not a God that he should lie. He is not a God who forgets. But you have a job to do too. You have to depend on him. You have to observe his commandments. That means you have to love. You have to honor. You have to trust. It sounds so simple. It's hard. Yes, it's hard to love, honor, trust people who are crazy. But guess what? God called us when we was crazy. Right? When we just wasn't in our right mind, when we hadn't figured it out. We talked about the prodigal son, but more so the father. That is that same God. That God, that Father who stands and he waits for us. And he leans not onto what we think we know. He trusts what he knows and what plans he has for us. And he's waiting. Is God waiting on you to come to your senses? Is God waiting on you to observe the commands? Is God waiting on you to trust him? Is God waiting for you to remember and to know that he is the God that called you from the foundations, that he is the one that orchestrates your path, that he is the one that has given you purpose, that he is the one that knitted you together before you were in your mother's womb, and that he predestined you from the foundations of the world? Is he waiting on you to observe his commands and remember who and how great he is? If you are, just do this simple thing with me. God, I surrender right now every will that I think that I am in control of, and I am going to remember and I am going to know that you, God, are indeed God. A God that I can depend upon. I want you to depend upon God today. because he's waiting for you. And if you're already following him and you already know him, and sometimes life gets hard and we forget and we're thinking that we've got to figure it out, be still and know that he is God and he has you in the palm of his hand, and he is taking care of everything. Because the scripture tells us in Matthew 25, why do you worry about tomorrow? He is already taking care of it. You guys have a great day. I will see you next week. Hopefully I can stop doing this late at night, but to God be the glory because we're together. You guys be blessed. See you guys. Bye.